What frustrates you, but you keep trying? Story 1. My 24-year-old daughter. I love her with all my heart and soul, but her addiction is disappointing. She lies constantly. She doesn't seem my grandson misses her. I am constantly trying to get her to go to rehab. I tell her how important she is. I only speak to her in kind, loving words. She makes promises then disappear for weeks, sometimes up to a month, only to contact me again and restart the process of lies and false promises. I do not give her money. She doesn't stay at my house. She lives on the streets and couch hops at her friends' houses, so I don't have much contact with her. She knows I don't approve of her lifestyle, but I also make sure she knows I love her. My younger daughter was murdered a few years ago. It devastated my family. On the 3-year anniversary of my younger daughter's death, my older daughter fell into addiction. Story 2. I was lied to and betrayed so often I slunk away from regular society and found solace in the alternative world. I went through a real dark time, self-medicated by pretty much anything I could. Luckily, I drew the line at heroin and never crossed it. Anyway, over time I realized that the only way to always trust people was to trust them to be people and not trust them to be 100% honest. I started with such a low bar that I expected people to lie and betray me, and then on occasion I was pleasantly surprised. As luck would have it, my situation changed. I was offered a room by a good dude, and he had friends who were good people too. Still a lot of shitheads in my life, but my bad was set low, so that was fine. But having such a low bar meant I was often left very surprised by good dude and his friends. As time went on, I realized that I had been tainted by the shitty people I was around. I had become of them. I expected lies and betrayal, and I acted that way too. I then realized that a lot of the time this shitty behavior is learned. For some it becomes intrinsic, and for others it can be learned and unlearned. Also, some people are doing it to protect their very core, and their identity is so at odds with their lifestyle that the lies they tell to themselves become necessary so they don't break. I had become what I disliked, but I didn't want that, so I had to train it out of me. It was fucking tough, and I still fail a lot. My point is, it's all right. It's part of life with people that lies will be told, and it is up to us to learn when and how much to believe. Also, when and where to challenge. It's okay to ask for evidence, proof, or guarantees at times, and if you do it with kindness and the other reacts in a way that makes you feel bad, well, fuck him. It's probably tactical, and you just got the evidence you needed, so walk away. Trust isn't the issue. Managing mistrust is. Now I am rarely disappointed. Story 3. Life. It's not that I don't have a purpose. I mean, have a good career, and I'm in the dissertation phase of my doctorate. I'm just tired. The comedian Aaron Myers once said that we aren't designed to carry the weight of the news we see every day. We're just a bunch of people running on empty empathy tanks, and I feel that. I feel way too invested in the war in Ukraine, and if Zelensky gets killed standing his ground in Kiev, I might need to take a mental health day. I feel useless and powerless about that. And that's draining. My parents are aging much faster than I realize, and with that comes a whole lot of health problems and other hard issues, especially when you live in another time zone from them. My mom is still working herself way too hard. I keep telling her to retire already. She's more than put in her time there, but she has to keep at it so that my dad can stay on her health insurance. That weighs on me. I'm pushing 40, and I thought by now I would have the big house, white picket fence, minivan, and a dog. But here I am. I have the money to buy all those things, but what's the point if they just feel hollow and don't bring any satisfaction? So here I am. I'm so tired from working towards all these goals and achievements, and when I get one, I have to find the next one to keep pushing my life toward that so that I don't notice everything else going on around me and get overwhelmed. Just keep swimming, I guess. Story 4. Trying to enjoy my free time like I used to. When I'm at work, I get pumped thinking about stuff I can do when I get home. The whole day I'll have this joy of going home and doing it, drawing, movies, home improvement, etc. Then I get home and I just get this bored feeling. Like even just relaxing on the couch after work doesn't feel right. Story 5. Trying to keep in contact with my one-sided friendships. I had two friends that I considered like brothers. We used to hang out almost daily. Within the last year, they moved in together in an apartment, and now they won't bother seeing me. They do things all the time, I know, because I'm in a group chat with them. But since I'm no longer convenient, I'm no longer invited to anything. I could make more of an effort, but I used to drive literally out of state for over 2 hours to visit these guys. They now live about 30 to 40 minutes away, and they won't even bother to see me. It's really been fucking me up. Story 6. Thinking my job will get better. I used to have a really terrible supervisor for 3 years who straight up told me I will never get a raise because I'm not ready. And I worked very hard, and everyone always told me I was very valued, so I applied to another position internally and didn't get it. Surprise! Even though I didn't get that position, I still had to fill in their knowledge gaps when they got a new person. Then, my shitty supervisor retired, and I got a new one who immediately saw my worth and offered me a new position for 20% more than I was making. It was because of her I'm making at least an above poverty salary. But she had to fight for me tooth and nail with HR. Knowing my company, they will never give me another boost unless I apply for a different job again, and it sucks. I know I need to separate the two, but I really respect her for actually rewarding me for my hard work. My last boss would always ask me to do extra shit for everyone because I was valuable. Until I was doing the job of 4 people put together because surprise surprise people kept quitting and my loyalty meant nothing until someone with common sense replaced her. It's a terrible and toxic company, and I've known for a while I need to get out. I am applying for other jobs now, but I've just been traumatized by having such a bad supervisor who micromanaged every little thing I did and hated when I worked from home. Was always suspicious when I would call in sick even though it was none of her damn business. She would make me send her a list of everything I did every workday. It's just so refreshing to have someone who will help me, give me more opportunities, and encourage me to work from home while not controlling everything I do. This past week I've been sick, and from day one she told me to take my time and rest, and if I need to work from home to not take days off, but still rest. So I was able to stay at home all week while sick and only had to take 1 day off. She helped with my work so I could rest and didn't need proof of anything I did. I absolutely know when I get a better paying job, she will be an amazing reference and be happy for me. So I'll just miss her is all. It's rare to find a good person in upper middle management who doesn't get unnecessarily power hungry. Story 7. I have spina bifida, and it didn't become disabling until I was over halfway through college. Long story short, I had zero support. My family, my ex-partner of 5 years who made it clear I had no home with him if I couldn't work. Even as my dream job was my greatest joy in life, I couldn't keep going without opiates, which my ex decided he deserved even after seeking them out for me because he had a rich daddy and I didn't. Plus all the violent physical, mental, financial abuse he used against me. I didn't give in to illegal opiates until over a year of zero medical help, in spite of my 10 scar, MRIs, nerve conduction studies, attempts at all alternative treatments including being permanently damaged by a physical therapist. I will need catheters for the rest of my life due to nerve damage. After 2 years and over 12 attempts, I did get clean, and almost died in the process, as I was unable to keep down water, and thus my life-saving meds. I couldn't open my hands. Tiny useless claws. I was wheeled out of my apartment into the air. Afterwards, I was looking into shelters, going through the motions even though I had a date with an 11th story balcony planned for the bitter end. A casual friend saved my life. I decided that I deserved to grieve my health and life first, and reached out to someone who went through a similar health crisis around the same time my struggle began. He convinced me to try staying with him since he wanted companionship, and we had an absurd amount in common. We are married now. I lucked out beyond belief. I spent years without medical help, and not for lack of trying. Only this last 6 months have things gotten livable. It turns out my addiction to opiates was mostly me needing fucking medical help. I was essentially bedridden for years until my current DR gave me a chance. At the right dosage and the right med, I have zero addictive behaviors related to opiates. They simply allow me to exist without wishing for death. They let me make myself food, do laundry, meet my basic needs. But I'm still nowhere near able to work. So many doctors told me you're too young for chronic pain or called me drug-seeking long before it ever came to that. I just needed treatment, and not a soul was willing to stick their neck out and treat my provable birth condition, complete with records of my surgery in infancy. Chronic pain patients are being forced into extreme options due to unwillingness to treat us. To some, that means addicted to street pain meds. To others that means suicide, including the elderly and veterans who are suddenly cut off meds because they are seen as a liability. The message and help we receive makes it clear our lives are of no value.